Hi everyone, and welcome to our next tutorial using Adobe Flash. What we're going to do is create a moving background in order to make it look like an object is moving. So that could be a plane moving through the sky, it could be a car moving down a street. Moving backgrounds can make great animations, so that's what we're going to do today. So to do this, we're going to first use Photoshop, and we're going to create a new file. We're going to go File, New, Blank File, and we're going to call this Clouds Background. And it's very important we get the correct dimensions. We're going to make this 800 pixels wide by 400 pixels high and 300 pixels per square inch. So we're going to click on OK. Notice that the grid lines are on. We can get that by going to View, Grid, and we can see that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our clouds. So you can search the internet for a high resolution picture of clouds, or if you want to have something moving down a street, you need to have a face-on shot of houses on a street. But clouds is a good one to work with, fairly easy to do. Now this photo here has trees at the bottom, which we don't want, so we're going to go to our crop tool. We're going to crop that out. So let's crop this here. And that looks good. And then if we go back to our photo bin here, here's our canvas size. We want to make sure that we're exactly that size. So I'm going to drop my photo onto that canvas. And then I'm just going to make this fit right on top of that canvas size. Now we might have to stretch our photo, and that's okay. That still looks all right. So that looks pretty good. Now when you choose your photo, it's very important that you choose a photo of your background where this color on the left matches closely to the color on the right here. And the reason why is really this image is just going to repeat from right to left and just keep repeating. So it's important we try to get the colors on the edges to match. And again, we choose clouds because it's a fairly easy one to try and get to match. Now, how do we check to see if they do match? If you go to Filter and you go to Other, and if you go to Offset, what that does is this can shift our picture left to right. So now when we do that, you can see where we ended up with a seam. And we are going to try and fix that seam. So we're going to click on OK. And we're going to use this tool here. This is our blur tool, and we're going to try and blur this so that we can get the seam to look a little better. So if I zoom into there, let's take a look at that seam, and let's try to fix that as best as we can. Now you can use the blur tool, you can use the smudge tool. Since they're clouds, it might actually work well if we just use the smudge tool. The blur tool really adds a minimal effect, and it's really hard to see. So I'm going to switch over to the blur tool, and let's see what this looks like when we do this. You don't have to make this totally perfect, but we're trying to get the seam to look a little better. Like I said, that'll be one of your challenges, is to get this seam to look okay. Make the strength a little higher. We might be overdoing it a bit there. I'm just going to go back, Control Z. I don't like the way that part turned out. I'm going to go turn my strength down, and I'm going to come from this side here and just see if I can maybe make this just a little better on this side here. So as you can see, finding a picture where you can try to make the seam as best as possible is going to be one of your challenges here. So we'll try to fix this as best as you can. I'm just going to go quick because I'm giving you the idea now. You can see what happens with that seam. Now we do have clouds down here, but again, clouds are nice because we can fix this fairly quickly to make this look not bad. Can make these clouds look more realistic here. So now if I zoom back out, not too bad. I'll make this a little bigger. Let's see if we can't fix this here. Alright, like I said, you can try to make this seam as best as possible using the smudge tool or the blur tool. So keep that in mind when you choose your photo. Now, that looks pretty good. So when I go back to Filter, and I go to Other, and I go to Offset, if I just shift this here, then we can see as we move, that looks not too bad for my background that's going to be moving. So I'm going to click on OK. Now, if we go to Edit and Preferences, I'm going to go down to Guides and Grid. And what I want to do is make sure my grid line is set for every 100 pixels. Because I'm going to slice my picture into 8 pieces. And since it's 800 pixels wide, if it's 100 pixels for each, that's going to make a total of 8. 8 times 100 is 800. So I'm going to put a grid line every 100 pixels and click on OK. So I had that before, I have that now. And what I'm going to do is take each one of these slices and basically export each slice. Now I just want to make sure my view is grids. I want to make sure I've got Snap to Guides and Grid. Those are both checked. Those are both on. And I'm going to go down to my crop tool. And we're going to crop out our first slice here. So we'll slice that piece. And we'll click on OK. And we're going to export that. So File, Save As. And we'll call that Slice 1. And I'm going to go Control Z just to take me back to my photo again, because I need the second piece. So I'm going to select up here, and we're going to take that piece there, and I'm going to save that. Slice 2. Just going to take out the space here. I might have another file that's the same. So that's slice 2. I'm going to go Control Z, and let's do this for the third slice. And we'll go File, Save As. This will be slice 3. And we'll save it as a JPEG. Keep these options here, click OK. Control Z takes us back. Slice 4. Click OK, and we will save that piece. Slice 4. Save it as a JPEG. Control Z takes us back. Slice 5. This piece here. Click on JPEG, click OK. Control Z takes us back. We're up to slice 6. You guys are getting the idea now what I'm doing. Have to remember our slices here. And our last slice. Now the first one, I don't know if I had a JPEG or it was a PSD. I'm just going to go back, make sure I have that first slice. Alright, so we've brought in a high resolution photo and we've used Photoshop to slice it into 8 different slices. So that's the end of this section here. We're going to end this video and we're going to move on to the next part of the video to create the moving background. Talk to you then.